People on this water. Our Storm Track 9 meteorologists say after this weekend's rain, we are now more than 6 inches above average for the month.
And TVA says the water flowing through the Chickamauga Dam is moving much faster than it normally does because of the heavy rain, as you can see here, that we got a few days ago. Now, the agency has temporarily stopped barge traffic on the river, and it's warning people to stay off the water for the time being. News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur joins us now from the dam to show us the conditions out there. Alana.
Guys, I'm going to show you just how much water there is over here. So I should be able to walk down these steps without any problems, but obviously that is not the case today. You can see the pathway to the dock is all blocked and covered with water. And if you look over to the entrance of the dock, that is covered with caution tape. On a normal day, Chad Russell would be on the river fishing from his boat.
There's nobody out here.
But today isn't a normal day.
It's the highest I've ever seen it.
According to TVA, at some points today, water rushed through the Chickamauga Dam at about 560,000 gallons per second. That's more than 5 times faster than it should be.
There's no getting on a boat safely in this.
Standing back on the sidelines today, Russell shares a love of fishing with other people like Richard Sims. Sims, seen in this video, is News Channel 9's outdoors correspondent and makes his living as a fishing guide.
A lot of times when I'm taking clients out, I fish this section of the river. Obviously, I don't want to be out there right now.
That's because Sims says the conditions make it hard to catch catfish and it's not safe. So he called off 2 trips this week and turned down several others.
I don't make money unless I take people out fishing, and when I have to call people and tell them that I can't take them out fishing, then it's money out of my pocket.
TVA says they expect the water to slow down towards the end of the day to about 375,000 gallons per second. At that point, barge traffic will reopen. But Sims is still being careful when it comes to his business.
I've already told those people that I'm supposed to take out on Sunday that maybe we will, maybe we won't.
He just hopes clients will understand.
When you're dealing with Mother Nature, she always has the last word.
You can see just how quickly that water is flowing through the dam. Now, other business owners I talked to said the fast speed of the water isn't the only thing that people need to be concerned about. Coming up tonight at 6, we'll show you what else they say should be of concern. We're now reporting live, Alana LaFleur, News Channel 9.
Alana, thank you. Other businesses like the Chattanooga Duck Tours and Chattanooga Cycle Boats have also called off trips. TVA is asking people to stay off the water until the river calms down.
And today the agency did something it hasn't done in 4 years. This is video from TVA's Facebook page of the authorities spilling water over the Norris Dam north of Knoxville. It's the first spill at the dam since 2013. TVA says the excess rain we got over the weekend is the reason for the spill. TVA calls it the only way to manage the excess water. The battle over a border wall.
Why President Trump's proposed wall at Mexico's border could be the reason for a government shutdown. We'll show you how lawmakers are trying to avoid that next.
I'm Jessica Harthorn. Please join us on Wednesday's Good Morning Chattanooga.
We're halfway through the work week with your local news, a look at that traffic and that 7-day forecast, which includes the weekend.
Of course, wake up anytime with us between 4:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you then.
A judge in San Francisco has blocked a Trump administration order to withhold funding from sanctuary cities. This temporary ruling comes as a lawsuit over the order moves through court. San Francisco and Santa Clara County argued that it threatened billions of dollars in federal funding, but an attorney for the Justice Department says it applied to a limited set of grants. The federal government may ask the court to overturn that ruling.
A Capitol Hill showdown now underway could end with a partial government shutdown. At the center of the dispute is money for the wall on Mexico's border.
Can a spending bill be passed if the president includes his campaign promise to build that wall? News Channel 9's Scott Thurman has the latest.
The argument over building a literal wall has only strengthened a figurative one in Washington, since President Trump wants funding included in a budget and Democrats won't budge.
If the threat of the wall is removed, as I hope is the case, our negotiations can continue.
All the while with a possible government shutdown looming this weekend.
That would be the height of irresponsibility. He would not want that to define his first 100 days.
We feel very confident the government's not going to shut down.
Democrats saw that as a sign the White House is backing down. President Trump alluding otherwise, though in a Tuesday tweet, "Don't let the fake media tell you I've changed my position on the wall. It will get built." President Trump may have some political cover to back down. While his base still adamantly wants a wall, a majority of Americans don't. And recent polls show 64% oppose building it. And if those two sides don't come to terms, everyone would take a hit. The 16-day shutdown in 2013 reportedly cost taxpayers $2 billion in lost productivity. The wiggle room now in this $1 trillion spending bill could be cash for border security instead of the actual wall, and a potential short-term deal until a larger one is worked out.
The Republicans have the votes in the House and the Senate and the White House to keep government open. The burden to keep it open is on the Republicans.
I'm Scott Thuman, News Channel 9.
And that brings us to our question of the day. We want to know, should the U.S. pay for a border wall? Tell us what you think by going to newschannel9.com/question.
General Motors tries to block dozens of lawsuits over faulty ignition switches.
We'll tell you what the Supreme Court decided and what this means for auto owners.
Denies an appeal from General Motors seeking to block dozens of lawsuits over faulty ignition switches. The justices left in place a lower court ruling that said the automaker's 2009 bankruptcy did not shield it from liability in the cases. Last year, a federal appeals court ruled the GM is responsible for ignition switch injuries and deaths that occurred before the bankruptcy. We thank you for letting News Channel 9 be your choice for news.
News Channel 9 at 5:30 starts next.
News Channel 9 at 5:30 starts right now.
Amendment to a bill honoring the 6 children killed in the Woodmore bus crash. One lawmaker added to the measure today that changes who would have to pay to put seat belts on school buses. A new executive order signed by the president today aims to help farmers in the United States. How former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue will be involved. From 2017 back to 1937, how one Chattanooga icon celebrated a major milestone with a blast from the past.
Who will pay the price tag to put seat belts on Tennessee school buses? It's a question that's becoming more important as the measure is one step closer to becoming law. Good evening. I'm Josh Rowe.
I'm Kim Chapman. It's been more than 5 months since the lives of these 6 children were cut short. Today, lawmakers in the Government Operations Committee discussed the bill honoring their lives, but not without making some changes.
Catherine Marchand is keeping track of the bill's progress. She joins us now live from Nashville to explain. Catherine.
Kim, Josh, the bill calls on the state and local school systems to fund seatbelts, but the chairman of today's committee said some local school systems can't afford to do that, and he wants the state to pay the entire cost. Government Operations Chairman Jeremy Faison kicked off his committee hearing today by welcoming the family and friends of the Woodmore Elementary students affected by November's bus crash.
It's important that you come up here and share your feelings with us and what you believe is important and passionate to you. Thank you for being here.
Faison was also the key figure behind changing the bill those families drove up to support. Today, he added an amendment to the school bus seatbelt bill. It says before the law goes into effect, it has to be clear who will pay the price tag.
What is important to me in the district that I represent, all 3 counties, is to make sure that they're not saddled with the financial responsibility.
In other words, if local school systems can't afford to put seatbelts on school buses, he wants the state to have to bear the cost.
There's very few counties in Tennessee out of 95 counties who could pay for what we're fixing to do to them without raising some enormous amount of property tax or doing something. So this doesn't kill the bill. It's just saying, listen, if we're going to tell the people to do it, we need to give them a bit of the ability to pay for what we've told them to do.
Lawmakers advanced the bill with Faison's amendment, but it could make it harder to pass the bill later on down the line. We caught up with the sponsor outside the hearing room. She says she still feels positive it can pass.
It could stall this, but I'm not anticipating that. I'm not anticipating that it will stop it.
The bill now goes on to the House Finance, Ways and Means Committee. Live in Nashville, Catherine Marchand, News Channel 9.
Catherine, thank you. The bill is estimated to cost $15 million per year. 2 students who were killed in a crash involving a school bus just north of Atlanta. It happened yesterday when a car hit a bus carrying 4 special needs students from Roswell High School. The driver and the passenger of that car were killed. The victims are 18-year-old James Pratt and his 14-year-old brother Joseph. The brothers were students at the high school. None of the students on the bus were hurt. Roswell police are investigating. Counselors were on hand at the school today.
A bill moving through the Tennessee legislature is aiming to ensure quality PTSD care for firefighters and EMS personnel. This bill would require all cities in the state provide treatment. Senior Chattanooga firefighter Jack Thompson says the city's emergency responders have options now. But Thompson says some firefighters have been turned from therapy because therapists don't have specific training.
Some out there, they just don't really know who we are or how we operate. We've had several people that have gone to seek help, and then the therapist was like, yeah, I really don't need to be talking to you because now I'm starting to have some issues.
Right now, the city covers 6 therapy visits a year. The bill proposes cities provide at least 10 per year. It's received favorable votes in several committees. It needs to pass a few more committees before a full House and Senate vote.
A measure of the Tennessee legislature that will have you spending more money at the gas pump is now on its way to the governor's desk. Governor Haslam's plan increases the gas tax on regular gas by 6 cents. Diesel would go up by 10 cents. The revenue from the tax will pay for the $10 billion backlog on road projects across the state. The bill also cuts the sales tax on groceries, corporate taxes on manufacturers, and a tax on earnings from stocks and bonds.
He's been prom king, Mr. East Hamilton, and now a young man from Chattanooga with Down syndrome is getting a standing ovation from the state's lawmakers.
I just want to say thank you, and it has been a great honor. Thank you.
Jason Rogers is the first intern in Governor Bill Haslam's office with disabilities. Last night, the House of Representatives honored Jason's work at the Capitol with a resolution. He attends Lipscomb University through their IDEAL program, which offers students of all abilities a chance to learn a different job, a job life, and academic skills. The last time we checked in on Jason in Nashville, he told us one of his goals is to come back to Hamilton County and work as a teacher's assistant.
Former Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue is stepping into his new role as Agriculture Secretary today. President Trump signed a new executive order on agriculture this afternoon. The order will set up a task force led by Perdue to identify obstacles in the growth of the agriculture-based business. The president signed the measure after meeting with 15 farmers from across the nation to discuss topics including immigration and trade. President Trump says his administration wants to emphasize the importance of agriculture.
The former teacher accused of kidnapping a 15-year-old girl and taking her across the country will return to Tennessee. Tad Cummins appeared in federal court in Sacramento yesterday. Cameras are not allowed in the courtroom. A judge ruled Cummins will come back to the volunteer state where he will stay in custody. His public defender said Cummins looks forward to returning to fight the charges against him. Police say Cummins tried to have an inappropriate relationship with Elizabeth Thomas. He faces both federal and state felony charges of kidnapping and sexual conduct.
Now that Elizabeth Thomas is back in Tennessee, her father's doing everything he can to keep the girl away from her mother. Today he filed a restraining order and for divorce. He says he's doing it in the interest of his children's recovery. The girl's brother says they shared a secret handshake and then she returned, and that put him at ease.
I just started it, and whenever I started it, she seemed after she was done, she kind of aggressively smiled at me like, ah, and she was happy. It was genuine. I was like, this is my little sister. She's back. She's gonna be okay.
A judge will review the restraining order against the child's mother on May 22nd. Documents show a history of violence between a Ray County man and his wife now charged in his death.
Calvin Sneed joins us with that story and what else is coming up at 6. Calvin.
Kim, Josh, police say Patricia Wilkie shot and killed her husband yesterday. At 6, we'll tell you what Patricia's family believes led to the shooting and the couple's history with the law. Plus,
a grandmother accused of driving under the influence on Highway 27 wrecks with kids in the car. Coming up, we'll show you their injuries and tell you how their mother says it happened.
Those stories and more coming up on News Channel 9 at 6. Josh Kim, back to you.
Calvin Sneed, thank you, sir. Coming up, a Chattanooga staple marked a major milestone today.
Later on in the show, we'll tell you how Wally's Restaurant thanked its customers on its 80th birthday. That's after David's Storm Track 9 forecast.
Got a nice day to celebrate as well. Plenty of sunshine around the area and across the region right now, where temperatures are approaching 80 to our south. I'll tell you when we'll get back into the 80s, but also when the next round of rain returns. The forecast next. View brought to you by CHI Memorial from Jasper Highlands in Marion County. This view from Pat's Summit, looking back down over the valley. Beautiful afternoon. Plenty of sun, some clouds out there. And for the second day in a row, thanks to all the rainfall, the pollen count has been much lower. Now, still in the moderate range, but remember, last week we're looking at readings around 1,800, close to 2,000. Today's reading around 34, mainly pine and poplar pollen. But of course, the tree pollen production getting lower and lower the deeper we get into the season. Again, rainfall none today. Second day in a row we've been lacking of any heavy rain, and we could use the dryness for a while. For the year, we're ahead now by over 3.5 inches. Our next round of rain on Thursday. High today 78, low 54. These temperatures more in line with normal for this time of year, with the average high and low being 75 and 51. Currently still in the upper 70s with a southeast breeze at 7. Humidity levels are much lower than yesterday, now under 50% as the air starts to dry out. And temperatures region-wide mostly in the 70s, though Calhoun, Georgia is at 80. To the north, Crossville 10 degrees lower with the temperature 70. In between, temperatures mid to upper 70s, Dalton, Cleveland, and up to Dayton. Again, an area of low pressure exiting off to the east has taken away the cloud cover, but still providing rain through the mid-Atlantic back to the northeast today. That's what brought us all the rain over the weekend. But for us, skies are clearing on out, a warmer air mass over us, and our next round of rain not far away. It is with this front that's going to create a stormy night from Oklahoma back to the middle part of the Mississippi Valley. Even tomorrow, as that front advances eastward, storms will be quite strong through Arkansas and northern Mississippi. By the time the front reaches us, it'll lose some of its energy, but enough is still there to provide showers and storms during the day locally Thursday. But until then, rather dry. Future track shows overnight tonight and by morning, some patchy fog north and east. Otherwise, a lot of sunshine throughout the day. And the sunshine and the southerly breeze will boost temperatures back into the mid-80s by the afternoon. A couple of spots into the upper 80s. Now, clouds rapidly roll back in tomorrow night, and first thing Thursday morning, some showers and storms across the region. This won't be a chance of rain that lasts all day long. It's going to be because of the speed of the front, but from mid-morning through early afternoon, the chance for showers and storms moving on through. And then by late day, we're drying out again as sunshine returns for late day. So it's not something that lasts all day long, but at times, some outside interruptions with the showers. And also due to the fast motion, it won't aggravate the flooding situation out there too much. And a few spots could get upwards of an inch of rain rather quickly, so watch for some flash flooding. But other than that, not too widespread, and again, fast motion won't keep it around too long. So overnight tonight, look for temperatures dropping back into the mid and upper 50s. A beautiful day tomorrow, plenty of sun, and temperatures late day into the mid 80s. Now by tomorrow night, clouds rapidly stream back in, not as cool, and by daybreak, there could be some showers off to our west, temperatures mid 60s early, and then through mid-morning, showers and some storms drifting on by, temperatures in the 60s. Again, this won't last all day. By late day, as the front clears the area, showers in, and temperatures should reach back into the upper 70s, close to 80. So the 7-day forecast looking sunny tomorrow, and then on Thursday, the chance for showers and storms in the morning through early afternoon. Friday's rain chance mainly just a pop-up late day. Saturday looking good, and then Sunday, the chance for storms is very late in the day, and a better chance Sunday night through Monday morning. Also notice how temperatures will stay in the 80s through Sunday, but cooling off a bit early next week, with in fact next Tuesday morning could be down into the 40s. So a bit of up and down with temperatures there.
The 40s?
Yeah.
You said the 40s.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, you know, and we've talked about this for weeks. When you get into late April, early May, those cool snaps, we call it blackberry winter.
Sure.
We're always on the lookout for that. That could be one of those showing up there.
It's almost May, and we're talking 40s.
It's almost summer.
Yeah, it is. Really? Yeah. Thank you, David.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Let's go outside right now. A live look here. A traffic tracker. You see slowdowns pretty much all over the place. 24 eastbound, 75 north and southbound. Also slowdowns on 153 and 27 at this hour.
And now a look from our TDOT SmartWay camera. You are looking at I-24 eastbound at Market Street. We're there. Everything's moving along slowly. No problems to report. No problems that we see. So things are looking good.
All right, be careful out there. Up next, celebrating the golden years with a blast from the past.
Coming up, we'll tell you how Wally's marked its 80th birthday and why customers keep coming back. Chattanooga community is celebrating its golden years today.
That's right. Wally's restaurant on Macaulay Avenue is commemorating its 80th birthday with a blast from the past. Calvin Sneed joins us now to tell us how the restaurant celebrated the milestone. Calvin.
Josh, Kim, regular customers at Wally's will tell you the line is almost always out the door. Well, today the line went outside the door into the parking lot. We're told at one point it started to wrap around the building. One customer we talked to today says it's all about the onion rings.
I'll get onion rings. The onion rings are awesome.
What's special about it?
I don't know. It's the way they make them.
Wally's opened on this date in 1937, and to celebrate, they offered a special menu with throwback prices. Hamburgers were 40 cents, hot dogs 30 cents, and fries, they were just a quarter. Cokes were a nickel. The restaurant's owner says it's a way to thank the Chattanooga community for keeping them in business this long.
It's not about any one individual person. It's about a group, and they love to serve, and Chattanooga's been great to us, and this is our way to give back and give thanks to the fine folks in Chattanooga who spend their hard-earned money with us.
The restaurant says it served about 1,100 hamburgers today, Josh.
Calvin, that's a lot of hamburgers. Back when the establishment opened, it was also well known for its donuts as well as its hamburgers. The census is adding a new category to its questionnaire in 2020.
Coming up, we'll tell you what new questions you may have to answer on the next census. Welcome back. President Trump is making strong comments about his position on the border wall on social media. On Twitter today, the president said, quote, "Don't let the fake media tell you that I have changed my position on the wall," end quote. He goes on to say it will get built. The president's tweet comes after a White House official suggested the president will not insist on money for the wall in a government spending bill. Lawmakers are struggling on a new measure to keep the government from shutting down just days from now. That White House official now says funding for border security could satisfy the president right now.
Demonstrators gathered outside of the White House to protest the federal budget today. Police arrested about a dozen protesters. The rally was organized by the activist group People's Action. Participants held signs demanding funding for clean water, immigration, and job creation. They say they want lawmakers to put people and the planet before profit.
Every 10 years, the U.S. government puts out a questionnaire known as the census. The information it collects is used to make decisions about federal programs and funding, among other things.
For the first time in 4 decades, there's a plan moving forward to add a new ethnic category to the census form, adding a box for people of Middle Eastern and North African descent. Our national correspondent, Christine Brazow, has more.
Each decade, residents of the United States are asked to participate in the national census.
Its data are used to decide where to build new factories and homes, where to spend money on infrastructure and education, and even to better understand trends in health. Now, the way those data are collected may be changing, with a new racial category for people from the Middle East and North Africa.
What we're seeking is a new ethnic category that would allow us basically real estate on the form to check this is where I'm from.
The Arab American Institute's Maya Berry says for decades, people in the MENA category have mostly checked black or white. Some have written in other, and she believes the estimated 2 million is closer to 4 million.
What we've had to do is go in and literally try to find people that have written Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Palestine, Yemen, and that's how we count our folks.
But not everyone is on board, with some concerned the information will be used to target people from the Middle East, others saying it's just not necessary.
Why should they be any different than Polish Americans or Italian Americans or most Americans? Most Americans are not given a distinct ethnic category in the census.
Kamal Nuash with the Free Muslims Coalition has written a letter to Congress against the proposed change and says most Middle Eastern people he knows will still check white.
The use of data and automation
changing the way the government collects demographic data proving far more difficult than just checking a box. I'm Christine Frizzau, News Channel 9.
The new census form is in the works and is scheduled to go to Congress for final approval next year in time for the 2020 census.
Coming up, new problems for Samsung customers.
When we come back, find out what issues customers are having with the new Galaxy S8 and what the tech giant is doing to fix it.
I'm Jessica Harthorn. Please join us on Wednesday's Good Morning Chattanooga.
We're halfway through the work week with your local news. A look at that traffic and that 7-day forecast, which includes the weekend.
Of course, wake up anytime with us between 4:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you then.
North Korea conducted a large-scale artillery exercise to mark the anniversary of the founding of its military today. At the same time, a U.S. submarine docked in South Korea in a show of force. U.S. lawmakers are afraid North Korea would conduct more missile tests in defiance of the UN sanctions. Tomorrow, all 100 U.S. senators will head to the White House for a briefing on North Korea.
Two big names are set to testify on Russian meddling into the 2016 presidential election. Former acting Attorney General Sally Yates and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper will appear before a Senate subcommittee on crime and terrorism on May 8th. Yates was expected to testify last month, but House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes abruptly postponed that hearing.
Some of Samsung's customers are seeing red, and Samsung is trying to fix it. Customers are complaining the new Galaxy S8 display has a red tint. At first, the company pointed out that users could adjust the color settings on their own, but after numerous complaints, Samsung is rolling out a software update to fix the issue.
Los Angeles police were led on an unusual chase today. A man allegedly stole this rental truck, then led police on a slow-speed chase for about an hour. He was driving slow enough that police put down spike strips trying to flatten the tires, but he kept going, driving erratically, swerving across lanes and running red lights. Police caught him, tased him, and took him into custody. That's all the time we have for News Channel 9 at 5:30.
News Channel 9 at 6 is next.
Channel 9 at 6 starts right now.
A grandmother accused of driving under the influence wrecks on Highway 27 with children in the car. Good evening. I'm Kim Chapman.
And I'm Calvin Sneed. Tonight, the kids, both under the age of 5, are recovering from minor injuries.
Hannah Lawrence joins us now with why their mother says she believes this was all an accident. Hannah.
Kim and Calvin, records show that the grandmother has a past with drinking and law enforcement. Her daughter says that she was also in the car Sunday when she wrecked. Seatbelt burns healing on both Jericho and Amanda Scroggins tonight, 2 days after they were involved in this suspected DUI crash.
They were screaming and crying, and we got them out of the car as fast as we could.
Their mother, Lena Keener, says they were both in car seats Sunday night. She says it was her mother, Melanie Dobbs, who was driving the white van in this viewer picture.
We was going about 75, the speed limit, or 70, 75, and she just kind of goes out of it for a second and just turns the whole way.
According to the arrest affidavit, officers were already looking for a possible driver under the influence in a van with Dobbs' tag number. The document says Dobbs told officers she thought the car she ran into was pulling out in front of her, but Keener says she could tell it was parked on the shoulder of the highway and she foresaw what was about to happen.
When it was too late, I seen it coming.
This highway shut down for hours as police investigated. Police say Dobbs failed the field sobriety test here and could barely stay awake to hold her head up as they took her to jail. Keener says her mother is on medication.
I don't know what time she's supposed to take it, but I've seen her take it plenty of times.
She says the family was trying to get back to her apartment in Dunlap after spending the weekend at her mother's house.
She was getting to a point where her medicine was starting to act up and she was getting ill with the kids, and I was ready to go home.
So why did they put their children in the car with their mom behind the wheel? Keener says neither she nor her husband have a license. According to a TBI background check, Dobbs pled guilty to public intoxication in 3 different cases. Kim.
Anna, thank you. Dodds is in the Hamilton County Jail on a $10,000 bond. She's due in court May 3rd.
A bill making its way through the Tennessee legislature would ensure firefighters and EMS responders receive PTSD care. Senior Chattanooga firefighter Jack Thompson says it's not about the lack of options, it's the lack of training for therapists. He says this bill would ensure healthcare professionals know how to talk to firefighters about specific problems they face.
The Woodmore bus accident, it's not necessarily the extrication portion of it, is the victims that we're going to help. The things that those firefighters saw on that day is going to stick with them for a while.
Right now, the city of Chattanooga covers 6 therapy visits a year, but Thompson says the professionals need more specific training. The bill has passed several committees and has a few more before a full House and Senate vote.
A bill filed in light of the Woodmore tragedy crosses another hurdle in the Tennessee legislature this afternoon. News Channel 9's Catherine Marchand joins us now live from Nashville to tell us what was added to the seatbelts on school buses proposal today. Catherine.
Kim, friends and family of the children who died in the Woodmore bus crash made the trip to Nashville again today. The bill was discussed by the House Government Operations Committee. The chairman is concerned about who's going to pay to put seatbelts on school buses. The bill calls on the state and local school systems to share the cost, but Representative Jeremy Faison says many local school systems do not have the means to do that. That's why he proposed an amendment to the bill that says it can't go into effect unless funding is secured. He'd like to see the state pay for all of it.
I'm saying if we're going to mandate that to the locals, that we need to pay for it. We can't. There's so many rural counties. I represent a county. They don't have an additional thousands of dollars to put into a bus. They're scrapping right now, having to buy a new bus, much less add an additional cost to the bus.
The bill advanced with Faison's amendment and now goes on to the House Finance, Ways and Means Committee. Live in Nashville, Catherine Marchand, News Channel 9.
Catherine, thank you. Representative Joanne Favors is the sponsor of the seatbelt bill. She says this amendment could stall the bill, but she's still optimistic about the outcome.
A Trenton woman pleads guilty to a 2012 deadly hit and run. Betty Jean Mundy crashed her car into David Bruce on his scooter in St. Elmo 5 years ago. Police say she left the scene and then crashed her car into a telephone pole a couple blocks away. Police found prescription painkillers and muscle relaxers in her car. Monday will spend 1 year in prison, and she'll be on supervised release for 15 years.
Documents show a history of violence between a Ray County man and his wife.
Police say Patricia Wilkie shot her husband Thomas yesterday. News Channel 9's Stephanie Sanastasi joins us now to tell us what Patricia's family believes led to the shooting. Stephanie.
Kim, Calvin, Patricia Wilkie's brother believes past abuse from her husband led her to that breaking point. In court records we received today show that wasn't the first time Wilkie abused a wife.
A call made from this house long before investigators say Patricia Wilkie pulled the trigger.
911, where's your emergency?
The same place where police found Thomas Richard Wilkie. According to this arrest affidavit, Wilkie's wife, Patricia, admitted to shooting her husband twice in the head. Police say she wrapped his body in plastic garbage bags and tape, then threw his clothes over a bluff and the gun in a river.
We were dispatched up to 1241 Walkertown Road, reference to a possible DOA.
Patricia's brother Charles says Thomas abused his sister. He says there was only so much she could handle. Documents show police came here back in 2015 for a domestic call between the couple. Patricia told officers her husband was drunk and got mad because she wouldn't give him a code to their safe. As she called 911, Thomas threw her down and bit her. That wasn't his first domestic assault charge. In Ray County, Wilkie's been arrested 13 times. In 2002, records show Thomas and his wife at the time got into a verbal altercation. It quickly turned physical. Police say he hit his wife in the face, held her down, and put a knife to her throat. The two eventually divorced, and she filed a restraining order. But Wilkie's record continued. In 2008, he was charged with domestic assault again, this time with a different woman. She was his girlfriend at the time. Documents show Wilkie held a rifle to her head and wouldn't let her leave.
Records show all those domestic assault cases were dismissed in court. Calvin.
Thanks, Stephanie. Patricia Wilkie is charged with 1 count of criminal homicide. She also has past charges, but none of them are violent. She appeared in a Ray County court this morning. She's being held on a $350,000 bond.
Chattanooga police shut down the McCauley tunnels around 4 this afternoon due to investigating shots fired, a call there. It happened near the 3100 block of Brainerd Road. Officer Rob Simmons says a 19-year-old man showed up to a hospital with a gunshot wound shortly after the shots fired call. They're still trying to figure out if the two incidents are related. The tunnels reopened shortly before 5 o'clock.
Policies for processing inmates have now changed in Bradley County after the jail refused to take a fugitive who needed medical attention. James Torres joins us now to tell us more. James.
Calvin, today I talked to Kitty Creek. She's Thomas Creek's mother. He went missing hours after the jail also denied him, also for medical reasons. His body later found dumped in the Cherokee National Forest. This body camera footage from March shows the Bradley County Jail refusing a Cleveland police officer trying to book Jadarius Hudgens because he needed stitches. A man wanted for aggravated burglary, theft, and reckless endangerment.
I'm following our county policies.
Both agencies say they were following policies, but one mother says this department feud led to her son's death.
I think if someone had stayed with him or they had accepted him in the jail, that I think he would still be alive.
Officers took Thomas Creek to the jail in March, where the jail denied him too. This police report says Creek had pain in his legs and needed medical attention, so the jail released him from custody and an ambulance took him to the hospital.
But they just dropped him off, and he called me from the waiting room, and he said that no one was with him.
The Tennessee State Attorney's Office says the jail is not allowed to refuse any arrests brought to them, which is what CPD followed. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office policy at the time clearly states they would refuse any suspect who needed medical attention. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office says they've amended their policies in April, saying if a person who is arrested needs to go to the hospital, they will call 911 dispatch to have that arranged. Calvin.
Thanks, James. We tried to ask the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department more questions about this issue, but they say they are not talking because they have come to an agreement with each other.
A Grundy County deputy will be okay after a shotgun-wielding ATV driver dragged him down the road. The sheriff's office is still looking for the suspect. Now, this happened in Altamont early Monday morning. According to the sheriff's department's Facebook page, Deputy Paul Sweeten was treated and released at a hospital. Authorities did not release the name of the suspect.
Mayflowers will come from April showers that hit us pretty hard. Storm track meteorologists say the rainfall is already 6 inches above average this time of the year. Now that's causing water to speed through the Chickamauga Dam at breakneck velocity.
That's where we find News Channel 9's Alana LaFleur. Alana, how fast is the water flowing?
Kim, Calvin, the water is rushing through very quickly. I'm going to show you just how fast it's going. So TVA told us today that normally the water flows through the dam at about 100,000 gallons per second, but today it was almost 5 times that amount. And to give you an idea of how high the water is over here, if you look at that dock, there's a bench on it. Yesterday that bench was covered. Today it's exposed, but the water is still high, so the entrance to the dock is still blocked off. With these rushing waters, some river-based businesses are taking a hit. Richard Sims, a fishing guide and News Channel 9's outdoors correspondent, had to call off several trips this week because of the rising, rushing water.
I don't make money unless I take people out fishing, and when I have to call people and tell them that I can't take them out fishing, then it's money out of my pocket.
Over at the Lakeshore Marina, the business sent out a message to customers warning them about the conditions.
When the waters rise, we get debris in the water that pose a very potentially dangerous hazard.
Glenn Walters says even though some adventure seekers are drawn to the water when it's this high and fast, debris like this limb or even this float dock could hit boats, jet skis, and kayaks and injure passengers. And that's not the only hazard the business is dealing with from the fast, high water.
The water was to the base of the fuel shutoff. If it had gone over, it would have potentially had electricity under the water.
Lots of risks from those conditions until all the water you're looking at slows down. Now, the TVA is asking people to stay off the water if they do not need to be on it. That is especially true for kayakers, canoers, and paddle boarders, they said. So also we checked in with a couple of other river-related businesses, Chattanooga Duck Tours and Chattanooga Cycle Boats. They both had to cancel trips because of these conditions. Now reporting live, Alana LaFleur, News Channel 9.
Thanks, Alana. Yesterday, TVA said the water went through the dam at almost 1 million gallons per second. By tonight, that should decrease to 375,000 gallons per second. At that point, barge traffic will reopen.
Hamilton County and state leaders are throwing around an idea to help the 5 failing schools in the district. The idea came from a meeting with the Tennessee Education Commissioner Candace Queen and Hamilton County school leaders. According to Chattanooga 2.0, the county and state would jointly run a new district. It would form its own school board with 6 members appointed by the state and 4 appointed by the county. If this proposal passes, the new district would be formed in the 2018-2019 school year.
One of those failing schools in Chattanooga getting a major addition.
What other schools will receive the first Volkswagen E-Labs and what they do.
Plus, where can you get a 40-cent burger these days? Nowhere. But one downtown Chattanooga restaurant celebrated a special occasion with extra cheap menu items. We'll explain coming up a little bit later.
Volkswagen is teaming up with Hamilton County schools to get students ready for the future.
News Channel 9's Josh Rowe tells us how it will get students ready for the real-world workforce. Josh.
Kim Calvin, today Volkswagen and Hamilton County school leaders announced the 8 schools that will receive the first E-Labs in our area. The high-tech science labs will feature manufacturing equipment, robotics, and 3D printers. The goal is to prepare students for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics careers as early as middle school. Each school will have a team of 4 teachers, including a VW specialist in the lab. Those schools are on your screen right now. Hamilton County Chief Academic Officer Jill Levine says this is a big deal for Hamilton County.
When we teach in ways that make kids want to learn, what happens, guys? Yeah, come say that into the microphone. They want to learn more. That's exactly it.
Now, next year, 8 more schools will be able to apply for funds for the remaining E-Labs. That will put 16 in Hamilton County over the next 15 months. Calvin.
Thanks, Josh. They hope to have the first 8 E-Labs up and running when school starts in August.
Many people are getting nervous as tensions build in North Korea. So what can be done to ease concerns over a possible armed conflict, especially in the middle of North Korea's nuclear test? We take a look tonight on News Channel 9 at 11.
Well, the sunshine back today. In fact, second dry day in a row after all that rain over the weekend. Temperatures again slowly warming, 70s now, but I'll tell you when the 80s should return, but also when another round of rain could come back. The 7-day forecast after the break.
Line at 6, our Storm Cam 9 camera sponsored by CHI Memorial, coming to you from Jasper Highlands, overlooking the beautiful Tennessee Valley from Marion County, Tennessee. David, those clouds breaking up a little bit, a little more sun than we used to here lately.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we had a lot of sunshine around today, and the clouds will continue moving on out as we head through the night tonight. So plenty of sun back tomorrow, and even warmer with the 80s coming back. But then the clouds return rapidly, chance for storms on Thursday, and we'll discuss later on in the 7-day forecast when another round of rain could return as well. But again, for the second day in a row, we were minus any heavy rain. We're still having a hefty surplus for the year, well over 3.5 inches. And temperatures right where this should be this time of year, though a bit warmer than yesterday. High of 78 after the low this morning of 54. Right now we're holding on to 77. Calm breeze, humidity a little lower than yesterday as the air continues to dry out. Temperatures are near 80 to the south. For instance, Rome 78. For Lafayette around 79, still around 70 at Crossville, close to 80 in Dayton, 77 in Cleveland. Compared to yesterday at this time, temperatures from 7 to 12 degrees higher, all because of the added sun. And temperatures did make it to the low 80s south and west. That'll move our way tomorrow. Still cooler to the east because an area of low pressure still having clouds and showers hold on across the Carolinas. But again, for us, skies were clearing. And that'll be the case again tomorrow. A warming air mass as well as the southerly breeze kicks in. Our next rainmaker is really not far away. It's back over the Plains states. So to create a lot of storms tonight from Missouri back to Oklahoma. Then tomorrow shift eastward. So a very stormy day tomorrow near Little Rock. Rock, through Arkansas, and back through western parts of Tennessee near Memphis. But by the time that system reaches us, it'll be a little bit weaker. So for tonight, a fair sky, some patchy fog north and east tomorrow morning. Watch out for that. Otherwise, a sunny day tomorrow with the southerly breeze, temperatures going right back into the mid and upper 80s. Warmest day in quite a while. But by Thursday, rather quickly, clouds are back. This round of showers and storms won't last long due to the speed of the system. But therefore, mid to late morning, some storms could roll on by and pretty much exit by early afternoon. So it won't be lasting all day long. By late day, some sunshine is back. And as we approach Thursday, mainly just a few pop-up showers around. But as I mentioned, the risk of severe weather tomorrow is mainly west, and it's a slight to enhanced risk. A very stormy day off to our west. But again, as that system moves east, it'll weaken somewhat. So for us, the chance for severe storms rather low on Thursday. But as always, we'll keep you updated on those chances. Tonight, though, a clear sky, patchy fog, and lows mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow, plenty of sun, much warmer, highs mid to upper 80s, and that southerly breeze increasing quite a bit. 7-day forecast shows the showers and storms Thursday, again from late morning to the early afternoon. Then late day, we dry out. Chance of storms Friday is mainly just some pop-ups late day. Over the weekend, Saturday looking good. Sunday, though, storms late day lasting through Monday, and a little cooler into early next week, with morning lows dipping back into the 40s. That'll be early May. So Calvin, you know, we've been watching. we've been on Blackberry winter watch for the past couple of weeks. Will it sneak in here? And that could be possibly one of those times early next week.
Yeah, but it's going to be May, for crying out loud.
That's right.
I know it.
Some chilly mornings.
I know.
Then it's summer, so then they go away.
It's right there. It's right around the corner.
That's right.
Okay, David, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, a blast from the past.
From 2017 back to 1937. One mom-and-pop restaurant in Chattanooga celebrated a major milestone with some wildly cheap burgers. Why customers keep coming back to Wally's after the break. $0.40, hot dogs for 30 cents, soft drinks for a nickel. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're kidding. It may be 2017, but for today, one locally owned restaurant took their prices back to the 1930s. Wally's on McCauley Avenue in downtown Chattanooga celebrated 80 years of business today. In honor of the milestone, they rolled back their prices to 1937.
Owner Gary Meadows says he had to close the doors early because he ran out of hamburgers. He sold about 1,100 of them today. We talked to some customers about why they love Wally's so much.
I've been coming here for 5 years, and my parents come here with me a lot. I like their hamburgers and chili dogs.
It's just a relaxed atmosphere, and I think that's why they've stayed in business so long. It's because of the friendly people and the good quality of food.
Chattanooga's been great to us, and this is our way to give back and give thanks to the fine folks in Chattanooga who spend their hard-earned money with us.
If you missed out today, you can still visit Wally's. They're open from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. during the week, but no more 40-cent burgers.
You know, there are a lot of Chattanooga institutions, I guess we can say. A lot of them around.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another institution, I guess, is this weather we're going to be enjoying for the next few days.
Well, while the specials won't last tomorrow, price-wise, at least the weather will. It'll still be just as nice, a little warmer. Upper 50s with some patchy fog early tomorrow, then plenty of sun mid to upper 80s. Kind of a hot afternoon coming up. But rather quickly, it all changes again Thursday. Cool front coming in. That provides showers and storms. Again, this looks to be from the morning through early afternoon. There'll be some breaks late day, so not all day long. Highs near 80. Chance for rain Friday, mainly just pop-ups during the afternoon. Looking good Saturday. Another round of showers and storms late Sunday into Monday, then a little cooler.
All right, thanks, David, and thank you for joining us. Remember, our news continues 24 hours a day at newschannel9.com.
We'll see you tonight at 10 and 11.